Hello, Once Forest Focus. As Nottingham Forest prepare to take on familiar foes in Brentford for the first time this season tomorrow. Joining me to give us the opposition view on what should be a formidable opponent this week, I'm delighted to say, is Billy the Bee, Billy from Beesotted podcast. How are you doing, mate? Good to have you with us.
Not bad, Matt. How are you doing? Thanks for having us on. Actually, it's good to be on your pod. I've listened to it for quite a bit, and obviously I know my man Greg for quite a few years now as well. So, like I said to you, I've had him in so many of our podcasts and getting him to do a lot of stuff. When I used to do all the fan content for Sky and Channel 5 and stuff like that when the fans used to talk. So I used to do that, and Greg was my man there as well as Mr. Dorr. So it's good to be on your little platform as well today. Thank you.
Greg always wants you to get relegated every year.
I know. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah. But saying that, actually, and I'm going to say that as well, but also when we were in the Championship and it was that final year in the Championship, you said, just get promoted. He goes, get promoted. We need you gone from this division as well. So, you know what I'm saying? Because, as we know, we kind of like year on year, we kind of got, we basically sussed out kind of how to negotiate the Championship. There's, one particular year where I think we were doing about 900 passes a game. We're thinking, we're playing brilliant football, but we weren't getting the results that we were meant to. And I think we became a little bit more cynical and a little bit more astute as to how to negotiate the Championship. So I think the last couple of years we were actually, we were decent. And then Greg was just like, no, just get out of this. We don't want you here anymore. I'm like, sorry, Greg, I thought you liked coming down the pub for a drink with us. But anyway, this is all good. But we'll be seeing him on Saturday, no doubt. Him and Laura.
No doubt. I mean, it feels like you cracked the Premier League over the last few years. We'll get into home versus away because that's probably the big distinction. But what have you made of this season in general?
It's good. Again, this season, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, obviously, and you know this as well, you have your first season in the Championship and you sort of do the old, if we finish 17th, we're going to be very happy. I mean, I know there's a few Forest fans. I think it was Forest Fan TV was expected to finish 4th in the first season. I was thinking, mate, I'm not being funny, but it's not quite that easy. Like, teams will they'll smash you one week and then you'll nick a point another week. But, so the first season, it was like a happy to be here, want to finish 17th. I think the second season, again, we thought we'd like to kind of finish in and around there. So you got your first couple of seasons where in effect you're kind of in survival, a bit of survival mode. And if you do better than that, you're actually really happy. I mean, the second season we did really well. So we were really happy. And again, I think we kind of sussed that we can't play that expansive type of football that we used to play in the Championship because we didn't have the players for it. People like Burnley come up and look at them. They play brilliant football in the Championship, and then bam, they come up. They try to be the Man Cities in the Premier League, and they get absolutely smashed. So you got to be a little bit cleverer. And I think we kind of sussed out how to do that for the few years. So all of a sudden, it made us a little bit more uncomfortable. Yeah, we had a number of issues, particularly in the first couple of years, in the fact that we had. And I know everyone says we got injuries, but we had ridiculous amounts of injuries the last couple of seasons as well, where we had players out for a whole season. I mean, we've got Rico Henry, who's one of our top players, and he's been out for a season and a half now. I mean, a lot of people say, is he ever going to come back? But we're just waiting for him to come back because he's very, very key to the way that he played. So we had to kind of negotiate around those issues as well. And we're not the type of side that goes out and just buys, 3,000 players. We can't afford to do that. And our owner, he doesn't believe in that. Thomas Frank, directors of football, they don't believe in that because they feel that it's also difficult. First of all, financially, you can't afford to do it. B, their belief is that if you're going to buy somebody, the player that you buy has to be kind of better than what you've got on board. And if you've got somebody on board, are you better sticking with them for 6 months or a year and building them to another level rather than bringing somebody else in and then competing? So it's a bit sort of you biting your fingers as a football fan because they kind of know what they're doing. You kind of know what you're doing, but you're sort of thinking, we need a left back, we need a centre back, we need, but they're like, no, we'll bring the kid up from the B team and then we'll develop him over a year. And, they're making mistakes and not doing particularly well and you're getting really frustrated. But then sort of 18 months later, all of a sudden they sort of kind of like, oh, he's quite good now. So it's they've got a plan in place and we've kind of seen it. We kind of do understand it. But those couple of years were quite tricky with the injuries that we had. But the thing is that we survived it and we got out of it. And the thing that I also say is that if a player is missing, it's also an opportunity for another player. So it gives players opportunities to say, right, there you go. There you go. You're going to play right back now. You're going to play up front now. So it gave a lot of players opportunity who basically, we would never see them on the pitch before at Brentford. And some of these players are coming to surprise us. So yeah, coming back to your question to say, we've negotiated the Premier League. Listen, nothing's a given. And next season, we could get relegated immediately, and we know that. But in general, we've actually done all right this past few seasons, and I think the most thing that I'm really happy about is a lot of the players who are squad players. We've given them the opportunity to actually become kind of key players within our side, and if we get decent players coming in and they sit on the bench, we actually think we've got a decent squad now.
And watched a few of your games, and I'm sure you discussed this at length on your podcast, but home versus away, you've got the best home record, the worst away record. But I watched the Chelsea game. I thought you played well. So what's gone wrong or what's gone right, however you look at it? What's the reason for this home versus away disparity?
It's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird one, There's little things like, we played people sort of talk about the fact that we haven't played any decent teams at home and you've played all the decent teams away. I don't think it's necessarily as simple as that, because, you play a decent team away and then you beat them, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we played a decent team away. So, it's, and also, you beat a not so decent team, as they say, at home, but you've just kind of added to the fact that they haven't got 3 points. So I don't quite necessarily agree with that. I'd say that we've been a bit unlucky at times away from home. We've been a bit unlucky. So, say, for example, we played Manchester City. Of course, we went ahead in the first minute against Manchester City, and we were looking really good for the first 20 minutes. Pep said that, and at the time, it was a great sort of endorsement for us. He said they were the best, the toughest team, the hardest team that he'd ever played against in that first 20 minutes of the match. Okay, and we were thinking, yeah, we're brilliant. But after that, they came back and I think they won 3-1. But in retrospect, you're looking back at that now, and it probably doesn't look like such a good result against Manchester City. But again, you're looking at that and you're lucky. We played Fulham and we were, our biggest rivals. We were 1-0 up deep into injury time, and then they scored 2 goals, which is a absolute gutter. So you've got results like that. You've got the Chelsea result, which I thought that we were very good for a draw in the second half. I thought we were really good in that second half. And when you get Chelsea fans whistling, 10 minutes to go to actually kind of get the final whistle going, and Cucurella sort of falling down like somebody shot him, like in extra time, things like that. You sort of kind of realise that we got them on the run. So that was look disappointing, but it's really interesting because even though we haven't won a match, it's not like you're sitting down there in the doldrums going, oh God, we're so crap, we haven't won a match, because we're, again, we keep saying we're happy to be here, Brentford, we're in the Premier League, we're playing good football, we're seeing some good games, we're seeing great games at home. I personally love the away days, so I'd love to see us get results away from home. But it's kind of one of those things where, okay, we haven't got a result away from home, but it's almost like pushing people on to keep going away to try and see if you can get that first result. I remember we played in the Championship one season. We played in I don't remember, we had this horrendous brown away kit, right? We had this horrendous brown away kit that we played in, and everyone ate it. We called it the Jaffa Cake kick. It had orange things on its sleeves and brown. And we literally couldn't buy a win in that away kit. And everyone's going, you've got to bin the Jaffa Cake kick. And it got to sort of like November, December, and we hadn't won away. But people kept on going away. And I think eventually we went to Rotherham. Do you remember that place that we used to go to? Rotherham away. And we won away at Rotherham, and we got that away win. And it's like, everyone's like, yes, I was there when Brentford got their first away game. And I think it's the only away game of that season as well, won their first away game. So I think it's just pushing us on, and we're playing good football. We've got players coming back into the side like Thiago, who is actually starting to add to our side, and we will get that away win. It's just where is it going to be? I mean, I'm flying off to Newcastle in a couple of hours, and it might be tonight. It might not be. I've got no idea, but we're still enjoying it.
How are you feeling about this one then? Because we've had a long rivalry going back, like saying, to the Championship. You've had the best of us in the Premier League, but obviously we're doing very well. So how are you feeling about this game in particular?
Listen, Forest are doing really well this season. We know it. You've got your Chris Woods. You're scoring your goals. You've got some great players that you've bought in, and it's going to be tough. I'll be honest with you. A lot of our Forest, most of the games that we play against Forest are actually quite tough. They're quite end to end. We've had the ones when I think you equalised up at your place in the final minutes. I think it was with the penalty. That's the one when Wisa scored the goal. So the games against Forest are always sort of quite good and quite edgy as well. And I think also because we had the little bit of kind of, I say inverted commas, rivalry in the Championship. And when I say rivalry, it's the fact that everyone wants to go up. So if you're in the top 6 or maybe even the top 8, all those teams are competing against to go up. So obviously you want to take points against them. It's almost like a little bit deeper than it is in the Premier League, because in the Premier League, it's kind of like, you're either in the relegation zone or you might be in the sort of kind of top four. And if you're lucky, top six, then everything else is a little bit kind of vanilla, like, you know. So when you play another team at the moment now, it's almost like you're happy to be there, but it hasn't got that same kind of jeopardy as it had in the championship. So we had that sort of jeopardy thing going on. So we wanted to beat you, you wanted to beat us. I remember when you came down to us, and I think you scored a goal. You know, it's a night game as well. I think you scored a goal on the break, you know, when we were doing our sort of 3,245 passes, but actually not putting it in the back of the net and things like that. So we actually really look forward to the game events for us. And I've been talking to, like I said, our Beesotted crew. Check out the podcast, by the way, prideofwest.london. And everyone has said that it's going to be a really tough game, this one. We played Newcastle, and we knew and we thought that was going to be a really tough game. And we managed to get a result out of them in the end. And so now everyone's switched to it, saying, oh my God, now Forest now is our next toughest game after Newcastle that we're going to play at home, and even probably looking at the games away from home as well, even your Manchester Cities, even your Tottenhams. And I know we didn't get results there, so we know we're going to have to definitely be on the ball to try and pick up something from the game at the weekend.
Any Forest players in particular that worry you? You mentioned Chris Wood. Anyone else?
Well, it's funny. I mentioned Chris Wood just because of who he's played for. You know, the relationship with Leeds, saying is interesting as it is. But he's one of those players that always pops up and scores against us, and that and it is quite annoying that he's all of a sudden he's sort of turned up at Forest. And also for you, he's doing really well, because I think he also got not a little bit lambasted, but he also got a little bit like, yeah, we're not sure about this player. And he was kind of, everyone thought he was on his way out, but it's almost like he's kind of found a new lease of life in Forest. And the fact is that, you know, he's the type of player, I wouldn't say he's one-dimensional, but he is very good at what he does if he's playing in the right system, probably with the right manager, you know, doing the right type of things. So he's a massive danger to us. I know that for a fact. So quite concerned about having him in the side, and also the other figures. And you know, listen, you know, I'm not telling any secrets here as well, because, you know, if your Forest team doesn't do their scouting reports, then they're not doing their job. But, you know, our defence has been a little bit of a weak point. You could tell that by the amount of goals that we've let in. You know, we're the highest goal scorers the third highest goal scorers in the Premier League at home, I think it is, behind. I can't remember. We're higher than Arsenal though, but you know, I think it's Tottenham and Chelsea. That's it, Chelsea at the top, and then so we score untold amount of goals at home, but we also let in a goal. So you know, if anyone says that it's going to be a clean sheet on Saturday, I very much doubt it's going to be a clean sheet. And part of that reason why is that we're still grappling with our fullbacks. Rico Henry got injured, say 18 months ago or whatever it was, and he's still not back. And we were hoping to get him back. And also Aaron Hickey was our right back, and we haven't got it back. So we're kind of slotting in different players there. So we've been playing Van der Berg at right back. Now Van der Berg is a central defender that we got from Liverpool, and he's not really a right back. So he's kind of doing what he has to do. We got Roslev, who we got from our B team, who has been playing quite a lot of games for us. You know, but again, you know, he's not necessarily up to the same levels as your Hickeys and players like that. You know, and we've got Aya, who's been playing at right back, who is another centre back. But again, he's not perfect as a centre back, and he's been injured as well. But then he's probably better than the ones that we've had. So we've been grappling with that. And then on the left back side, we've got, you know, Keane Lewis Potter, who's actually a winger. But we've had to say to him, not be funny, Keane, we ain't got any left backs, mate. Do you mind just slotting back in there for a little bit? And it's taken him a little bit of time to learn the game. And he has some good games and some not so good games. So it's a little bit, you know, tricky there. And also Ethan Pinnock, brilliant player. Love Ethan Pinnock. Great, plays for the Reggae Boys. Hopefully I'll be seeing him with the Reggae Boys playing in the World Cup next summer, actually, Jamaica team. But he's great. But he's had a couple of off games as well. And he's normally mustard, as they say. So like I said to you, our defence can be a little bit off at the moment now. So, you know, trying to defend the bounce against Woods and all your other players, it could be a bit of a challenge at times.
Excellent. We'll leave it there. This is quite an abridged one because I'm going to return the favour for Billy before he flies. So it's been good to catch up with him. Just a quick word for the Trent Navigation. 80s and 90s mixtape is on Friday night. So this evening, as this goes out, check it out. Search tickets at gigantic.com. £5 with a free drink. And Steve McGill is on the bill with Fun Boy too. Right. Thanks for their support. My voice is failing a bit anyway. So good to catch up with Billy.
And I've got to just give a quick shout to Dave, actually, from the Trent Navigation as well. So I met Dave out in, met him out at the Russia World Cup. So he sort of spent quite a lot of time in Russia, in Samara. Actually, had a brilliant time over there as well. And so every time I come down to Nottingham, I always go to the Trent to go and see Dave. And he comes out to London. We go to England games together as well. So Dave and his crew and his brother as well down there at the Trent Navigation and all the crew. I want to just give you a big shout out as well. And also a big shout out to Mr. Dorr. I'd say hello to you as well, Holly as well. From obviously we've got Greg and we've got Scott, who's Munich and Madrid as well. If you remember Scott Ely as well, he's coming down very early on Saturday to go drinking with us at Saturday in Brentford. Just to let you know, all Forest fans, you can come down to Brentford, you can wear your colours. It's kind of like Forest, no bouncers on the doors, right? You can go anywhere you want to as long as you've got the manners. There's pubs in Kew down the river. There's pubs in Brentford. We get our old pub at the Globe is still happening as well. If you want to go down there as well, it's still really busy before the game. But there's all other pubs in Brentford, all the pubs on Standard, the Green and Crew. There's loads of places to go to. Like I said, you can wear your colours. It's not a problem at all. All fans are welcome. They tried to shut off and try to segregate pubs and all that nonsense at Brentford. We said we're not having any of it. Football fans are coming there to enjoy themselves, and at the end of the day, we'll self-police it, and it's fine. So it's a great place to come down and have a drink. So, like I said, you enjoy yourself before the match and after the match, but the 90 minutes, I think you need to just kind of like, fingers crossed, just leave that to us because we're at home.
Good stuff. Right, thanks to Billy. Enjoy the game, everyone. We'll wrap that up and then back tomorrow, the post-match show. So if we don't see you tomorrow, we shall see you soon.